Good afternoon, members of the media and the listening public. Thank you again for tuning in today. In a minute, I will introduce the Minister of National Security, the Honorable Wayne Keynes, who will provide an update on Hurricane Humberto. Thank you. Minister.
Good afternoon to the press corps. Hurricane Humberto is now a Category 3 hurricane, and it is forecasted to maintain that status from now until the hurricane has passed Bermuda. This morning, the Emergency Measures Organization met, and we would like to advise the public of the following. Storm force winds are expected to pick up, and we would now like to advise the public that they are to be off the road by 5 p.m. today. The public are asked to be off the road by 5 p.m. today. All public schools were closed at 12 p.m. today. The last ferry left Hamilton at 12 p.m. today. All buses will be off the road with the last ferry leaving Hamilton at 3 p.m. today. All government offices were closed at 12 noon today. Elective surgeries at the King Edward Memorial Hospital ended at 12 noon today. Outpatient clinics will be closed on Thursday. All trash collection ended as of noon today and will not recommence until Friday. The Tynes Bay Waste Treatment Facility will close as of 4 p.m. today. All Bermuda public beaches will close as of 2 p.m. today. The Causeway will close as of 6 p.m. today. The Causeway will close as of 6 p.m. today. The Royal Bermuda Regiment has been embodied. The King Edward Memorial Hospital will initiate their Hospital Incident Command Center as of 3 p.m. today, with ambulances being located all around the island. The Lam Fogo Urgent Care Center in St. David's will be open at 4 p.m. today. Belco have members of staff also in position east, west, and in our central parishes. The Cedar Bridge Academy will open as a storm shelter for those in need as of 4 p.m. today. The Hamilton docks are now closed. The emergency broadcast facility at 100.1 FM will go live as of 6 p.m. today. Police comm-ops will be in operation with representatives from the Bermuda Fire and Rescue Services, the Royal Bermuda Regiment, Works and Engineering, Balco, Parks Department. The public are strongly advised to stay off the road until the all clear is given by the EMO Thursday. Airport evening flights have been cancelled. The BA from London flight has been cancelled. The American airline flight from Miami has been cancelled. The American airline flight from New York has been cancelled. The JetBlue flight from New York has been cancelled. I would like to remind the public that they can easily stay informed about the latest information on Hurricane Humberto by downloading and installing the Tree Frog app available on the Apple, and it can be downloaded on the Apple or by downloading it on the Google Play Store. Or you can also visit www.gov.bm or follow us on our Facebook page or Twitter on our Instagram accounts. I will now turn it over to James Dobson for further information.
Thank you, Minister. So Humberto's a big hurricane, and we're looking at the conditions already deteriorating. We had some heavy showers, thundery showers this morning with some squally winds, and we're expecting those conditions, particularly the wind conditions now, to start deteriorating, those winds to increase tropical storm force. and we're expecting into this evening those winds to reach storm force and potentially hurricane force as well, particularly if you're in an exposed part of the island or a higher elevated part of the island as well. So some very strong winds kicking in, particularly later this afternoon into this evening. We're then expecting overnight those conditions to gradually ease as the system moves away to our northeast. For people that are interested, the closest point of approach, the CPA of the system, is now expected around about 8 this evening, and that's going to be about 80 nautical miles to our north-northwest. So we're not expecting to have the eye of the system moving right over the island. So we're not expecting those winds to drop out like they have done in previous hurricanes like Faye, Nicole, or Gonzalo. We're expecting the winds, once they pick up, they'll continue, and then they'll gradually ease off overnight. With the winds, we're also going to see very big seas, high seas and swells developing, and we're already seeing that along the south shore at the moment. So very dangerous conditions around the coastline. So certainly can't stress that enough. And then the other elements are we are expecting some rain bands to move through. Looking at the latest radar imagery, we are expecting some showers to move through. Those will likely have very strong winds associated with them. I can't even rule out the possibility of some isolated tornadoes as well. So I can only emphasize it's a serious situation. Obviously, we've got a very big hurricane moving by to our north this afternoon. But as I said, as we go into tomorrow morning, it's moving at quite a speed, about 15 miles an hour. It's going to clear away to the northeast, and we're looking at conditions improving dramatically tomorrow. For everybody to keep up to date, we have our website, weather.bm. I encourage everyone to follow the latest tropical update bulletins and our forecasts on there. We also have a Facebook page, Bermuda Weather Service. We're providing updates on there, maybe some Facebook Lives as well. So there's plenty of information there. I also, or one of my colleagues, will be providing updates on the emergency broadcast radio 100.1 FM through the course of the hurricane. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. So during the hurricane and after the hurricane, don't go outside. The height of the storm, there could be flying debris, and it will be night time. Storm is going to be to our west, coming towards us. The west end will feel the wind first, and the seas will be building on the south shore. They're already building right now. The wind will later switch to the north, when the wind effects will be felt more from the northern exposure and the beaches exposed to the north. We're not expecting major damage. This hurricane is brushing us, but we do expect to have some trees down and possibly some wires come down with those trees. And there could also be some building damage, especially if the tornadoes on its leading edge touch down on land. At first light, around 6 a.m, the road crews will be out from the Royal Bermuda Regiment, Parks Department and Works and Engineering. Please stay off the road. Stay out of their way so they can clear the debris. Please listen to 100.1, the emergency broadcast facility. At 7 a.m, the Minister will make a statement telling the country what the condition is. We're hoping the conditions are going to be the roads are clear, everybody can get back to work, and we just have a slightly later start than normal. But there could be some areas that are more impacted than others, and you'll find out what they are and how you can get around them. Please remember that power and electric lines can still be live, even though they are down. So don't go out them and touch them yourselves. Wait for the experts to arrive. Balco crews are embedded in all the regiment, Parks Department and Works and Engineering road cleaning crews, so they should be with you soon. Chainsaw safety. Remember to wear your safety equipment, especially gloves and goggles. Don't use your barbecue inside the house. I have to say that because every year somebody has a fire. Food. If the power does go out for a significant period, don't eat your refrigerated food, especially if you think it might have spoilt. If we do suffer significant damage, there will be another press release tomorrow at 12 noon, but hopefully this will not be required. Please keep yourself and your families safe. Do we have any questions?
Yeah, good afternoon, gentlemen. Maybe for Mr. Keynes, if I could. Cedar Bridge, the shelter, how many people is that equipped to handle?
100 people.
100? Who would you encourage to use that option?
We have some vulnerable people in our community that
Yep.
might be homeless, people that might find their house that they just are. There are a number of people that during the summer months that live on the beach, that camp on the beach. Anybody that might need some shelter right now, we're encouraging them to seek shelter at the Cedar Bridge Academy. This is also a good time to encourage people to stay off the road. We know directly after the storm, we have traditions of everyone going to the South Shore and looking at the damage or just being in their neighborhoods. This is an opportunity for us to be really responsible and stay indoors and to stay off the roads. We're going to encourage everyone to look out for their neighbors and to make sure that everyone's safe. What I like about our country, this is a time where we come together in our communities, and when trees are down in our neighborhoods, this is when we work as a community to come together and to help each other. And I am confident that this is an opportunity where we will see the best of Bermuda during this hurricane season. Let's look at the timings and let's go through that again. We have to be off the road. We have to be off the road again. It's important for us to understand that the storm, whilst we're not going to be waylaid, we have to be off the road. We have people that ride bikes in our community. We have to be off the road and tucked away. We have everyone. The government offices are closed now. Our schools are closed now. It is time for us to make our way home and to start to prepare ourselves for Hurricane Humberto.
Appreciate that.
Good afternoon. This is for Mr. Dodgson. What is the likelihood of this storm changing course at this point? Is it quite erratic, or are you quite certain that the information you've given that is the way the hurricane will track?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So currently, because it's now very close to us, only a couple of hundred miles to the west, the guidance is very solid on this track just to the northwest of us, around 80 miles. It actually hasn't varied much with the previous advisories from the National Hurricane Centre, maybe just 10 miles here, 10 miles there. But we're pretty confident that it's going to pass us to the northwest, and that's why I emphasise that we're not going to see those eye conditions. But we will see hurricane force winds coming across us later on this afternoon, or this evening. Okay.
And you did mention there's a possibility of isolated tornadoes. Is that conducive to any particular area of the island?
Really, we're all under the gun because when the system comes by to the northwest, it's the right forward side of the system that can spin up these tornadoes. So when people see, if they're looking at the radar, some shower bands moving through, that's when we could see that activity especially. So it's something to highlight. Something I'd like to mention is we are looking at some potential storm surge of a couple of feet, and therefore some very low-lying areas could see some inundation.
Afternoon, Ministers. Cedar Bridge, the only shelter, is that the one that you're expecting people from the east and the west to utilize?
That is the only shelter that we will have, and that's why we're encouraging people now to understand their predicament and to make their way to Cedar Bridge whilst we still have the roads open to go to Cedar Bridge now. They will have and people there that will be ready to receive them. On behalf of the government, the Premier and the government of Bermuda, we would like to ask all of Bermuda to prepare for the storm, to know that the government and everyone is rooting for us and we can get through this, to remain calm. We've been through this before. Preparation is the key. To remain calm, let's look out for each other. And on the other side of it, we can tell each other stories of what we did to keep calm and to protect each other. And we look forward to having an update for everyone as soon as it is practicable. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.